Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Dr. Bonsai at Dr. Bonsai's Meme Emporium, and I have I want to do a little bit of a longer intro here because I did a thing. And this is 12, about 11 years in the making for me, this decision. And it all starts with something as simple as a button. This button didn't look like much. It's literally just a cheap plastic giveaway thing. But the important thing for me is the story behind it. At least for me personally. Probably nobody else cares. It's fine. It's whatever. So for me, why is this little object? Why have I kept this thing? Why have I kept this little piece of plastic for 12 years? Through several house moves and big life changes, big life events, having kids, getting married, all that. Why have I kept it? What makes it special? It was 2012, one of the last games days ever held in the U.S. In Chicago suburb. I can't remember what the name of it is. My memory fails, says, because I'm getting older. And so we get there. We do the whole song and dance, the rigmarole, jumping up and down, and the Games Workshop people getting us hype, making us go wow, like the orcs do. So we're doing the stuff, right? And we go through, and there's a vendor hall, and then this is back in the days before they had Forge World just available where you could order it in the U.S. and you go in there, and this big vendor hall, and you get to meet with all these people, and I got to meet with some fucking legendary Games Workshop people, guys like Jeremy Vidic, Aaron Dembski Bowden, James Swallow, Darren Latham, a bunch of guys from the UK studio made the trek and thought they probably died and gone to hell when they landed in Chicago. And it was really cool. Got pictures taken with them. I go to the Forge World stand because I keep hearing rumbles of the Horus Heresy. Oh, they're gonna peel back the curtain. It's like the Star Wars prequels, and I'm one of those guys that's old enough to have seen the Star Wars prequels in the movie theater. And I didn't think they were that bad initially. I still don't think they're that bad. I think they're actually pretty good. They're certainly better than anything that Disney shitted out recently. So this was like me being a dyed-in-the-wool Warhammer fan at the time. This was like the my other fandom that got tickled, which is the Warhammer 40,000, because I was playing orcs. I think I was playing orcs at the time, and but I had a real interest in the kind of the prehistory of the Space Marines, and all we had to go off of were some really old books that may or may not have been lore accurate, and the Index Astartes series, which I was a huge fan of, and I really love. I still have some of those files purloined onto a couple e-readers I have. So I go up to the Forge World, make it through the Forge World line. I think I got a Death Guard Dreadnought, the Forge World Death Guard Dreadnought, because that was the big get at the time for me. I go to the Writer's Corner for Forge World, just fucking deserted. Criminally deserted. And I see this guy, long black hair, heavy set, goatee, beard and mustache, glasses. And I walk over to him, and he introduces himself as none other than Mr. Alan Bly, the father of the Horus Heresy series as it now exists today. He passed away quite a few years ago at this juncture, God rest him. But it was basically 10 solid minutes of just me and him talking, connecting, having a good, solid human connection. There's nobody else was around. Nobody else, it's just deserted. And he said, are you a loyalist? Are you a Trader. And I was like, I'm a big fan of Horus because I like the Sons of Horus and that color scheme, blah blah blah. And he's like, okay, here you go. And he gives me this little button. So that's the preamble. And kind of further to that, you know, as I got older, my wargaming time went down the drain, and I didn't really have the time, resource, or money to keep up with Warhammer. And eventually, I kind of figured out that they're kind of anti-consumer. So I thought to myself, okay, it's time for me to take a break. Sold off all my armies, started playing BattleTech, and haven't really looked back since. Went through a personal move recently, just myself, and I found this, and I was shocked. I could have sworn it had gotten lost in a purge someplace, but apparently not, and I was really happy. So, and I'm like, okay, let's dig into this. Let's see what GW's got, because I heard they got their box set. I heard they got their bunch of stuff in plastic, yada yada yada. So what's the deal? And went to one of my favorite hobby shops recently, Michigan Toy Soldier in Royal Oak, Michigan, which is a stone's throw away from my old place. And I was kind of back in the neighborhood, and I just kind of was knocking around, and they had, well, I might as well get this over with. They had this. For a screamer of a price. And you can, I bought the last one they have on the shelf, but if you go to michtoy.com, mishtoy.com, they carry Horus Heresy, they carry Warhammer 40,000, they carry a huge range of paints from everybody from Citadel to Vallejo to AK Interactive to Ammo by MiG. All these companies, basically, if they don't have a color by the manufacturer that you wanted, you didn't need it. Just buy from a different brand, my gamer. So this place is extremely good. You sign up for the website, and they give you, I believe, 10% off just everything right off the top. They mail. They do mail order stuff. They do, if you're local to Southeast Michigan, you can pick it up in store, which I usually do a lot. And so I kind of had a moment. And here we are, you know. So this is going to be some content for a little while for me as I get back into this and exploring it, because I was able to obtain some digital versions of the various different rule books for the Horus Heresy. I didn't steal it. I was not gifted it. I did not buy it. I obtained it. So, just in case you think I'm going full GW simp, no. I give GW a little bit of a pass, because they're one of those corporations that's like kind of transparently anti-consumer. So if you choose to engage with them, you can be pretty confident that, you know, they're not going to piss on your head and tell you it's raining, unlike Catalyst Game Labs, which or, you know, any number of other games companies are like, no, this is fine. GW is just like, we're raising our prices, Lamau. Okay, that's all right. I guess you're not pulling any punches. I'm a big boy. I can take my lumps. So, so I know what I'm getting into before the comments explode with, I'm like, GW look, man, they're as big as they are for a reason. So I'm going to crack this box open and show you why GW is the 800-pound gorilla in the GW in the room. Ugh, you need to be like an 800-pound gorilla. Lift this goddamn thing. So here we go. So one of the things that also drew me to this is there's a couple of things about the rule system. Is one, it has a reaction system built in. You have a way to react to what your opponent is doing instead of like a normal game of 40K where it's like, okay, I moved, I shot, I did my combat, and you sit on the other side of the table, scroll your phone, and just say, oh, wait. Oh, okay, I need to take how many saves? What AP? You know, and you just throw your dice, right? So this box here gets you kind of all the widgets and the dice and the templates, and we'll come to the whippy sticks here in a second. You have the decal sheets, you have the Age of Darkness actual rule book, you get 40 tactical Mark 6 tactical Marines, 2 Legion officers, which are called Praetors, and I'm going to try to attack this from the profile or from the direction of that my audience knows nothing about Warhammer or the Horus Heresy. So this is going to be, hopefully, a fairly beginner-friendly introduction, including the part that I just said, which is, hey, if you're going to buy into this game, GW is they kind of do scumbag corpo things, right? So don't be surprised when they do scumbag corpo things, right? So anyways, so this box, again, like I said, they have 40 Mark 6 tactical Space Marines. You get 2 Legion officers. Well, they're called Praetors. And that's the other thing, is a lot of this stuff is in kind of this pseudo made up Latin-y type thing called Gothic, which is what it is. And then you have 10 of the Cataphracti Terminators, and then you have a Spartan assault tank, so which is a big, huge vehicle. Ugh. Flip this over. You want to know why this box is so expensive? You want to know why GW is so expensive? Look at this presentation. Beautiful, beautiful cover art showing off the minis. Ooh, so we're gonna lift the lid. Here we go. Now these. Now you're probably wondering to yourselves, what in the good goddamn are these? These are measuring sticks. Or, as me and my friends used to call them back in the days, whippy sticks. You know why? Because you would bend them back and you would smack somebody in the arm with them when they were least expecting it. So, here's the other thing. I've seen them do like the little acetate type rulers that are transparent and they have kind of cool graphics. They do that for the Lord of the Rings starter army. So, why they decided to resurrect these implements of fucking misery for this box, I don't know. It's a big mystery. And you get the Horus Heresy because, you know, consume product, which is their Black Library. So Black Library is Games Workshop's fiction writing arm. So if you think about like Catalyst, they don't really make a difference between like, oh, this is our imprint for our novels. Oh, this is the imprint for the game. It's like, no, it's just they all kind of do the same thing because Catalyst is like 3 guys in a trench coat pretending to be a bigger company than they are. But Games Workshop is literally a publicly traded company. So you have this, which is just kind of advertising all the books. Literally, look at this shit. They're not even trying to pretend. I'm telling you, they'll be honest with you. GW, top 10 most honest game companies of all time. Collect them all. And then you get two of these really reference booklets. They're kind of nice and rigid, and they have your reactions on here. You have your roll to wound. You have your roll to hit. So those are all kind of pertinent. You have your instruction book, which, considering that there's actually actual rule books out now, this part of it, which is kind of like literally a get you by army list, which is just is a paltry number of things considering what they got, what's actually available in the range and everything. So you have really, this is the other thing about GW. I'm never going to complain about their instructions, because their instructions 9 times out of 10 are just absolutely on point. This is something that I would see in like a Revell model kit, or, well, not Revell. Revell kind of sucks, so that's a bad example. Like a Tamiya, or a Dragon model kit. That's the kind of quality, and it gives you kind of these symbols saying, hey, this is different options, yada yada. So you have all this, and then you have, you know, for the cataphracti, and then you have the big dreadnought, the big combat walker, which is called a Contemptor dreadnought. And a Contemptor dreadnought, or a dreadnought in general, imagine you're a space marine and you get blowed up, a la Lieutenant Dan and Forrest Gump. I don't know if anybody's going to understand that reference because of its age, but so you get blowed up real good, like Lieutenant Dan. Got no arms, got no legs, you barely have any functioning body parts left. What they'll do is they'll stick you into sarcophagus and plug you into this thing, and you continue to serve, hence the memes of even in death I still serve. And this just actually looks like it's Gunpla almost, on the level of like posability options, all manner of different stuff. So you have, you know, all your different options and weapons. And again, this particular Contemptor that comes in this box is not the full retail version, which has more guns and more modeling options. And then you have the rules for the instructions for the Spartan. The Spartan's a big boy. Spartan's a big old boy. It's a big transport, big heavy transport. Link and length tracks that go around the outside. In hard plastic. The fact that they made this beast of a model kit in hard plastic, and it doesn't want to make me gouge my eyes out with how floppy and warped everything is. The fact that it's a hard plastic model on frame is just amazing. So, and then we're back to the rules. And then you get these. So again, these are kind of a blast from the past as well, because this is your flamethrower template. See, it's a flamethrower template because it's got the Bernie bits. And then you have the 2 different sizes of explosive radii, or radius. So bigger ones get this one, smaller ones, like smaller man-carried missile launchers and stuff like that, use this. And then in Horus Heresy, it actually goes up a couple of rounds bigger than this, because this is not the theoretical maximum of explosion in this game. And then let's push this aside. And then you got the 2 Praetors. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be doing a review video for each one of these pieces that come in the kit, and basically go over and talk about them and how you would, how you know, kind of options and stuff like that. And then you get 10 Cataphracti Terminators. So you can see you get looks like 5 pairs of lightning claws. You get chain fists. Lightning claws are just basically like big knife-bladed, knife finger gauntlets that have like a disruptive energy field around it. So they cut like Wolverine claws, except more gooder. And then you have heavy flamer. So it's interesting is that these are really good kits, but the options are somewhat lacking as far as like, okay, there's no special weapons other than the heavy flamer, and then the big power claws, etc., etc. So, and you get two of these frames. And you get, now this is the interesting part here, is you get a crap load of these frames. Basically, you get how would that be organized? It would be like, yeah. So you get, I don't think there's any difference between each frame. You just get a bunch of duplicate. Yeah, it looks like a bunch of duplicate frames. So you get 1, 2, 3, So there's 5 2 sprues, so 5, 10, 5, 10, 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You get 8 total sprues. So 8 sprues of Dude Bros. And as you can see, okay, here we go. So like right here, that's kind of like a commander's head, a bear head. You get the weapons, and this is something that I heard a lot of belly aching about oh, they split the shoulder pad. And it's like, man, I've assembled B1 battle droids for Star Wars Legion. I can do these in my sleep. That's not a big deal. Oh, what they're monopose. They are. So the core pose is basically like a leg, the front, the back, the arms, right? And then the backpack. So realistically, these arms aren't keyed to this body. At least it doesn't look like it. No, I don't think they are. They have like a little guide slot that matches up, but they appear to be identical on each of these bodies. So you can go through, bang out a bunch of bodies, stick them to the bases, and then go back through and just start sticking the paired arms onto whatever combination of bodies. So it gives you a lot of good variety. Because the uncomfortable truth is Space Marines are kind of fucking boring sometimes, because they're all kind of like, oh yes, we all have the same armor. And this is what's called the Mark 6 Corvus armor. Corvus armor. See? Because it looks like a bird. So you have all that. And then, so you get 4 squads of 10 guys, because your basic currency in Horus Heresy is like a squad of 10 Space Marines. And then each one of these squads gets basically a command sprue, which gives you options for grenades, bayonets, pistol holsters. Man, the knives actually look properly sharp. I thought that was flesh at first, but that's actually, they have the edges beveled such that they actually look legitimately sharp. So you get a sword, you get a power fist, or even possibly a lightning claw, a plasma gun, melt-a-bombs, hand grenade bundles, a crest that will go on that head I showed earlier. So that right, let's focus, there we go. So that guy right there, you would stick this crest on him to identify him as your crew sergeant. And then you have the various different heads. You have what they call a Vexella. So basically it's squad combat standard, like a battle standard. You have I want to say a Nuncio Vox, which is basically like an improved communications array. Then you have holsters, so you have 10 holsters. And then you have an Auspex device of some stripe or description. So everything is really, the leather detail is really good. Everything just looks really sharp, and I'm really like jazzed. I haven't put together a miniature. Like, this is the other thing I'm kind of bracing myself for, is like, I haven't put together a miniature in a really long time, because I've just been lazy and playing BattleTech, where nowadays if you get the plastic minis, you don't have to build shit. So so this is also going to be a little bit of a steep curve for me. And then you get looks like yeah, I guess that's it. So you get the 2 sprues for the, here, let me turn it back on. There we go. So you get the 2 sprues. So you get the front of the chest, then you get the assembly, and then you get, the head comes in 2 halves. but there is some positive locating points. That's the other thing good about these miniatures, is that GW has done a really good job with the engineering of being able to give you a lot of positive location points, so you're not just like rudderless. So you're not going to end up with something that's lopsided and looks like crap. So and then you have the heavy bolters, the multi-melta, you have the 2 heavy bolters, then you have the 2 auto cannons, you have the twin-linked las cannons, or the gravis lance cannons, whatever they call it these days. So you got that, and then you got... Okay, so now we're getting into the Spartan, and I believe the Spartan is 6 sprues. Yes, the Spartan is a lot of sprues. So basically you get some side hull, you get some detail, you get some internal detail, you get symbols for loyalists and the Sons of Horus. So you can kind of decorate this however you want. And then you get the, oh no, that's... Oh, yeah, no, this is it. So the kind of the ancillary weapons sprue. And then you get kind of the generic vehicle accessory sprue. You have you even get an additional Space Marine that you can drop on the top there. So that's looking real good. Of course, variety of bear heads. And of course, this is one of those games where, especially when it comes to miniature assembly, you're going to want to have a dedicated bits box, because you're going to have so much crap left over, and you never want to throw it away. And I'm going to tell you why. Because the second you throw it away, 3 months down the line, a month down the line, you're going to be building a kit, and you're going to be like, yeah, I'm going to give this. Oh, I forgot I have this head from the Lane Race Spartan. And then you'll stop and you go, I threw it in the recycling, didn't I? Yeah, you did, you big dummy. Anywho, so you have the tracks. So I'm also an armor. I like to. I fancy myself somewhat of an amateur armor historian. So the fact that these tracks have like no external track pattern other than the bolts, and it's just a big single pin running through the middle, is just breathtaking. So there's that. And then you get the hull top and front ramp. And you get more of the thing and more of the pieces. And then this is something that GW has also been doing, is they have been putting in this nice little like paper divider, which actually functions as a really nice poster, which is like, oh, look at that. All this stuff is out now, by the way. So this is something that's probably going to get a look at. So there's that. And then you have the big honkin' rule book, which has a place finder. You have just absolutely immaculate and exquisite art in here. Just, this will give you everything you need to know. I'm not going to go over the rules a whole lot, because there's a guy on YouTube called Ash Barker with Gorilla Miniatures Games, who did just a bang-up job on his Horus Heresy coverage. The man went insane for like a week and created like a playlist of 30 to 40 videos covering every possible aspect of the rules almost. So, and you get, in this box, come on. There we go. Oh, there we go. I just trimmed my fingernails, so of course I would. So these are decals, and as you can see, they're actually like 2 size, so you're not going to have to like cut around them like a Fighting Piranhas graphics one. So this is Sons of Horus and Imperial Fists. Now, of note, you don't get enough to do both. All the miniatures in here as one or the other. You only get about half, so that's something to keep in mind. And you have bases, different size bases, and you get your big base for that. And then you get your standard D6 with your scatter dice, which is something that's used in kind of adjudicating like weapon drift. So if you fire at somebody, if you shoot a missile at somebody, it might not land where you want it to. It kind of drifts. So, but there you go. So that is the Horus Heresy box set. Like I said, I will be doing reviews for each of the individual components at a later time. And I hope that you guys will join me on this journey. And before any of you start screaming like, oh my God, Bonsai, he's doing GW stuff now, he's sold out. First of all, this ain't sponsored. This ain't sponsored by nobody. Second of all, I'm not going to turn into one of those cringe 40K lore tubers talking about like the possibility of female space marines, although that is a possibility and I will be talking to it and you will enjoy it. I'm kidding. I'm not psychotic. I value my mental health too much to engage in that kind of nonsense. The book says that literally in the rule book this space marines can only be male, and that's where I'm going to leave it. So because it's GW's playground and I'm just playing in it. Nice little box fart to send us off, and I hope you guys were entertained by this, and I hope to see you on this journey. Have a great night.